Hello everyone. Hello. Let's dig right in. This is one of my favorite weeks. This is one of the weeks that I truly was ready to get into. Week 3 is always a special week for me because I want you to understand a few things. This week is a little touchy, but it's also to bring you all the way full circle on why you opened a child care center. So a little bit about me. If this is you're just now joining us and you haven't been able to get to week 1 and week 2, and I'm giving it back to you. Week 3 is it's going to be a powerful week. I am Dr. Cortisha Cowan, aka the Child Care Boss. I am known as the Child Care Boss. I created the Child Care Boss University because I have been in the child care industry since the year of 2000. So that puts me at exactly 24 years in the childcare industry. But as I said in week 1, my mom would say I've always been in the childcare industry because I've always had kids around me, taking care of kids, being with kids. And so outside of the childcare industry, I have been in the nonprofit industry 19 years. I have a nonprofit organization that I birthed myself called Mothers Helping Mothers. We started in Columbus, Ohio. We moved it to Georgia. But in 2015, we had the honor to send it to Cape Town, South Africa. So we have now been able to help and support young moms all over the globe. I'm an international speaker, an author of 11 books. I also just birthed a new book called I just birthed a new book, and it's, look at me getting a brain freeze. I birthed a new book called Believing God for a House. And so that book will walk you through the journey of the biblical way to ask God for a home. But today we are here because you want to be a child care boss. You want to be a child care owner. And so you have come into the right room at the right time to receive that information on what it takes to be a child care owner. A lot of people always want to start childcare centers, but if you don't know what it takes to be a childcare owner, how can you own a childcare center? Because you have to be able to do these things. The word boss, BAWSE, for me is because I teach you how to build, I teach you how to activate, I teach you how to have wisdom, I teach you how to serving your community, serving your family, serving your staff, and serving yourself. You have to learn how to serve your way to success. And so the S is the most important one for me out of the entire word. And then the word E is I'm teaching you how to execute. Once you give a green light and say yes to empowering yourself to be a child care owner, I teach you how to execute that thing. So let's dig right into week 3. Week 3, oh my God, is this the week for you? This week, we're going to learn how to get out of your comfort zone, learning the licensing and permit process of opening and owning a childcare center. This is the most critical step of opening a childcare center because you cannot just jump into the childcare industry and think, oh, I'm going to open up a childcare center and it's going to be peaches and cream. No, you need to learn the rules and regulations that it takes to open a childcare center. You need to know the requirements that it takes you to be the administrator or the director. Some people call it a director, some people call it the admin. You need to know if you're not even going to be in that role. When I first opened my childcare centers, I was doing it in a building and some things happened. That's a long story. I was going into a facility that I turned old bank into a daycare. Tried to go back to school to get my CDA to make sure that I could be my own director. At that time, the guy double leased it out. I came back to my building. Someone else was in there, and instead of fighting on it, I just asked God, what should I do in that position, in that situation? I ended up putting it into my home and becoming a type B provider. And then not even 9 months later, going into my first childcare center. And then I've had childcare centers ever since. Okay. And then when COVID hit, I closed my childcare center down. Of course, everybody did. We had to shut down. And so instead of reopening it, God gave me a new strategy and a new perspective of in the childcare and how I could still be touched and be a part of the childcare industry. And that's where the Childcare Boss University was birthed. And I ended up closing everything, selling everything, and moving myself and my family out here to Georgia, where we currently reside. And I'm helping other people such as yourself open childcare centers. So you have to understand that this is a industry with a lot of blessings, but it also can be an industry with a lot of stress if you do not know how to navigate those things. And so at the beginning of this, the best thing I can do for you is teach you how to get out of your comfort zone as a childcare boss. Okay. That is what we're going to walk through today. We need to get out of our comfort zone in order to really truly dig into the childcare industry. So some of the things I want you to understand is that to become a multimillionaire, you must reduce and eliminate the fears in your life. Okay, let's say that again. To become a multimillionaire in the childcare industry, you must reduce or eliminate your fears that are in your life, that are standing in your way. The fear holds people back from achieving their greatness. So we're going to take the word fear and we're going to remove everything that it has. F is for false. E is for so F is for false. E is for evidence. The evidence that you literally don't even know yet. You don't know how successful you can become because you already are putting the evidence in your mind that this is not going to work. So let's remove that false evidence because it's not there yet, right? I started the childcare industry when it was when I was really young. To me, most people in their 20s was out doing crazy things. I was out building an empire. So I had to already understand that I had to remove those fears, right? The A, appearing. You want everything to appear to be the way it's supposed to be, but what's that false evidence? That false evidence appearing real, right? That's the word fear. It's the false evidence appearing real. So we want to get rid of all of those things. So we're going to take the word fear and we're going to break it down and get rid of it. There is no failure in fear. Okay, there's no failure because the failure actually teaches you to do something bigger. So that's what we're going to be doing in this comfort zone. I want you to remove fear. You will not have fear while we're building this childcare center. It is important for you to understand that your comfort zone and fear goes hand in hand. You got to get out your comfort zone, but you know when you're in a comfortable place, you understand everything. But when you're in an uncomfortable place, fear kicks in. And we don't want either one of those. So we're getting out of our comfort zone, but we won't have fear while we do it. We're going to have excitement. Okay, let's change it. We're going to get out of our comfort zone, but we're going to have excitement. The excitement to see what is coming soon. The excitement to see what is next. That's what we're going to do. Okay. So getting out of your comfort zone. Understanding the importance of licensing and the permits. Identifying the licensing requirements. Navigating the permit process. Addressing the health and safety rules, developing your plans. What are your plans? What is going to be your policies and procedures? All of those things we're going to develop, okay? And then seeking the support and resources, which what you're doing right now. You're with the Childcare Boss University, so you're seeking the support that you're going to need and the resources. But then you also can navigate these things with licensing themselves. In your state, everyone has a licensing department. So also making them your best friends is going to help you in this industry because only us as coaches and consultants can still take you so far. You will still have to learn some of the ropes and some of the rules that goes along in your industry because every state has a couple things that are different. In most states, we're still navigating about the same, but there's a couple things that are different. And that's what we want you to be able to grasp when taking this. So we're getting out of our comfort zone and we're about to understand what it takes to be a part of the licensing process. Okay. So what is the licensing process? The licensing process for most states is you getting with the Human Services Department. In Ohio, it's Job and Family Services. Most of the departments are the same people that help with SNAP benefits, TANF, Medicaid, Medicare. Most states, it comes from that department, but in other states, it could be just the regular health department. So that's when you navigate and understand what those things are when it comes to that. So at the end of the day, we want to help you navigate what that looks like, okay? So understanding the importance of licensing and the permits. Learning why it is important to obtain a licensing and a permit in your state. Most states, you don't have to be licensed if you're taking care of less than 5 kids, but that's in your home. If you are taking care of kids outside of your home in a facility, you will have to get those licensing and those permits. And most of those standard licensing permits are working with your zoning department, your building department, your health department, and your fire. You will have to receive all of those certifications in order to open a child care center outside of your house. If you're doing it in your home, you're going to just be learning the rules and regulations from licensing, because if you want to have more than 6 kids, you're going to have to still be licensed in your state. Even if it's in a home, if you're going to provide care in your home, even if you're not going to take state funding and you're going to just do funding for private pay. You will still have to be licensed if you're watching more than 6 kids in most states. But we can talk about that on our individual coaching call as well. You also want to understand the staff ratio, what is the health and safety standards, and the staff qualifications. In every state, they break down the staff rules. Most states, the person to be a teacher just have to have a high school diploma or GED, take 25 hours a year in early childhood education, and to also be able to pass a physical. And everyone, even the owner and the admin, has to be able to pass a background check from the local the local police station and FBI. So they do local and state, which means they're going to be looking to make sure that statewide you don't have anything with the FBI and you don't have anything with the BCI. So you will have to do a BCI FBI check on everybody, including yourself. So that could also be uncomfortable. Just trying to make sure that everybody's going to pass those rules and regulations when it comes to the background checks as well. Okay. So I teach you how to navigate that. On the outside of this, if you hire me as your child care coach, we will go through more processing of what that licensing look like. Today is just talking about these are the things that you have to do to be able to get out of your comfort zone. Most people don't understand the permit processes and the licensing process, and that's why I say that this is getting out your comfort zone, because you have to understand this stuff. You don't just want your coach or consultant to understand this stuff. You want to understand it. And the very first thing to get you to understand it is, I have not seen a state yet that I've helped a person open a child care center in that they didn't have to take the child care orientation. So whether you're doing the child care orientation online, or if you're doing a child care orientation in person, if you're doing a home child care center or a center, you will still have to take that orientation. And in most states, almost every state I've worked with, that is a mandatory orientation. So you, even if you're hiring an admin, they're the person that needs to take it. I recommend that you as the owner take it as well, because it's going to teach you everything you need to know to be in the childcare industry. So don't just allow the person that's going to operate and run the center for you to take the orientation. Both of you should take that orientation, okay? So number 3, navigating the permit process. Those are the processes that I was talking about after you receive the building. First thing you do before you sign the lease, I always tell everybody, call zoning. Call your zoning department, your building and zoning department, and make sure that that building is zoned for childcare. It's pretty easy in the house. If you're renting a home from somebody, just make sure they allow you to run a business out of it. If you own it, of course, you do as you please. It's your home. If it's certain counties, like in Georgia, we're finding that Gwinnett County is, oh my God, that county driving me crazy right now. But that county actually tells you what you have to do with zoning and fire to be able to own and operate a child care center in your house. So some of them is county. You have to talk to the county zoning in your counties, but most states it is mainly if you are doing a building. It's not really deemed if you're doing like a small child care center in your house. But there are some counties that want you to go through them to do a child care center in your home. So just remember that when you're doing a home child care center. But a building child care center, you will not be able to get past these agencies, okay? So call zoning and building and make sure it's zoned child care. If it's zoned child care and you really love it, then you go ahead and get your facility. Once you get the facility, you need to do your permits, which is your fire and your occupancy. Neither one of those will come out. Occupancy may come out before you're fully set up. Fire will not. So that means your entire child care center needs to be set up as a child care center before fire walks through and do a fire inspection. Now, what they will do prior to setup is, say you have a big building and you want to add sprinklers and things like that. They will come out during that permit process, because to add sprinklers and things like that, you have to get a building permit so that you can start working on the facility. If you're going to get a building and you want to build walls and you want to add a kitchen and you want to do all that, you have to speak with the building people, because they have to give you building permits. And most of the times they ask you, do you have an architect, and do you have a contractor, right? If you have an architect and a contractor, most times they will pull those permits for you, because they're the ones doing the work. So these are all the reasons why I created week 3 as getting out of your comfort zone, because this is the time that you have to learn all of these things, and they can be scary and fearful. But what do we say today? That's false evidence appearing real. We don't know what's going to happen when you get started. You just got to get started. So we're getting out of our comfort zone, but we are excited because we are opening a child care center. We will not have fear in the midst of doing it. They don't go hand in hand, okay? So just understanding those licensing rules and regulations. Number 3, understanding the process of your permits, making sure you do not lock yourself in any building without calling zoning and building, and making sure it's zoned approved for childcare. If it's not zoned for childcare and you really, really, really love the building, then you have to get it rezoned, and that can take a little longer. Okay, because then they're going to want you to draw out the plans. They're going to want you to draw out the outside. They're going to know everything that's going to go inside and outside the building so they can rezone it for you. And it definitely has a cost connected to it. So if you don't want to do all of that, then you just continue to look. If you fell in love with the building, is not zoned for childcare, then you just have to get it rezoned for childcare, okay? Number 4, addressing the health and safety issues. The health and safety issues is literally you stating that you want to have a kitchen in the facility, but it's also above and beyond that. You got to have some staff trainings. You got to have some preparations for emergency evacuations, how to get out the building, where you're going for a tornado, where you're going to go for a fire. So it's not all about food. It's also the true health and safety regulations of your center. Do everyone meet the expectations and the needs that's necessary to be outside of the child care center, okay? So that means your fire inspection, where are you going to go when you get outside? Your tornado, where you're going to go in the building during a tornado. If there's somebody on site with a gun, what does your lockdown procedures look like? What do your disaster procedures look like? If there's a flood or something happened and some pipes bust, all of that is considered health and safety, okay? And if you have me as a coach, we break that down in more detail when we start to do your handbook, because you have to have a handbook for your child care center that the licensing representative is going to look at. You need a staff handbook and you need a parent handbook. If you need those books, I also have those books for sale. You would just go to my site and look at the different levels. I have bronze, I have gold, platinum. It's different levels to my childcare coaching packages, and in those packages, these packages comes with those forms, the daycare forms you need for your staff, the daycare forms you need for enrollment, the handbooks, the business plans, the forecasts, whatever you need. You could, it's at your fingertips, right? You just have to get with me and let me know if you want to have me as a coach consultant to walk you through this childcare process outside of this 6-week training that you have come into. So again, I send a worksheet. It's just like a notes that I wrote down, because of course you can't put them all on these PowerPoint presentations. So I actually took notes, and notes that I think will be good for you per week, and you also get that as well, okay? So just understand that health and safety doesn't just mean kitchen. It means the health and safety, the sanitation, the cleanliness, the emergency evacuations, the staff trainings, all that go under addressing the health and safety rules and regulations for your state. Okay, now developing the compliance plan. That is literally what is going to be ongoing with your licensing rules and regulations. It does start with your handbook, but then also things that need to be hung up within the center itself, and how to maintain your licensing with the licensing agencies. So they give you a provisional license when they first come out. Then every year after that, you just get a full year license, right? So in most states, they come out 3 times a year. They do 2 unannounced and 1 announced. They come out every time somebody complains on you. Those are not a part of those 3 times that they visit you. And those are regulations for like the state of Ohio and Georgia. I know they do at least 3 visits. 2 are unannounced, which means they're just going to show up at your center and everybody can start running around with their heads cut off like a chicken, making sure they did everything properly. Or you can be those childcare centers that are already above and beyond licensing, and you never have to worry about when licensing come, you don't start sweating and trying to figure things out. Got your staff running around putting kids where they need to be. You should always be in ratio. You should always have your files up to date. You should always be looking to make sure all of your staff physicals are updated. So someone should be responsible for at least monthly looking at all of the child forms and looking at all of the staff folders. So every month, look at the child folders. Every month, look at the staff folders. You should already be putting a pin or some type of note, or having your own little binder that says which kids physicals are coming up on renewal, which staff physicals are coming up on renewal. Is there any forms that need to be updated? There's some forms in your files that need to be updated yearly. Also, with that health and safety, I meant to tell you that you have to have a playground inspection. So in the state of Ohio, the playground inspection has to be looked at every month. I was in my child care center. We did ours weekly. The reason why we did ours weekly is because things happen on that playground all the time. So you want to go out there and make sure the mulch is at the correct level. If you did do a playground with mulch, if you did a playground that's just concrete, making sure there's no cracks or holes that can cause the kids to mess up. If there's any balls that are busted, they need to be garbage disposed. If you have jump ropes and the ends of the jump rope little handles are broken, you need to replace those. So do a weekly playground safety check instead of a monthly. Will save you the hassle, because if they come out and things are wrong that's under that health and safety, they are going to ding you for it. So make sure you are doing, if not weekly, you have to at least do a monthly playground inspection. Okay, make sure of that. So when you're developing those policies and procedures for your center, make sure you're adding that you would do that playground checklist. Another thing is making sure you thoroughly go through your classrooms monthly to find all broken toys and things like that. I didn't do it monthly. I also did it weekly. Every Friday, when it was time to put the toys into the bleach water and clean them up and leave them out to dry until Monday morning, I made sure that whatever was broken was trashed. We also made a list of things that was broken and thrown away so that it could be replaced, because like for the state of Ohio, you have to have 6 toys per area. So make sure that that is also broken down. To make sure that that is done as well when you are doing that. So putting together that list of all the toys that you have thrown out. Okay. And then again, number 6, you're seeking support and resources. That is me. I'm here to help you through the licensing process. I'm here to assist you on exploring what that looks like. I'm here to help make sure that even though I pushed you out your comfort zone, that you're just not out there in the wind by yourself. So I am here for you. I am the support that you are needing. If you need to have further support outside of this 6-week training, because again, this is just giving you the meat and the potatoes. It has not added the gravy and the biscuit and all that other stuff to go on with what it takes to be a child care owner. This is just helping you dig into the essential beginnings of becoming a owner of a child care center. Okay, so this is where you can still seek all of the professional resources and services that you need. Making sure that you get those things done in and on a timely manner as well. Okay, so again, I know that this is a lot to take in this first 30 minutes. Every week is not going to be a full 30 minutes, but I know the weeks that I needed to spend more time on, and this was one of those weeks. Week 3, you need to understand what it takes to get out of your comfort zone and be excited about what's coming next. So make sure that you're jotting down goals of what you want your center to look like, the size of your center. Most states, it's 35 square feet per child. So you would need to at least have a 1,800 square foot building or bigger to be able to accommodate about 45 to 50 children, because you got to also think about the bathrooms and things like that. So I personally look for childcare centers that are over 2,000 square feet to make sure that I have enough space for the kitchen, the office, the bathrooms, and the classrooms. The very first thing you can do is look for a building that was already a child care center. The second thing, look for a church that has maybe a child care center inside of it that they're not using Monday through Friday, that they would be willing to rent to you. And then the third thing is looking at a school that maybe be able to allow you to rent a few classrooms from them so that they can have on-site childcare, especially for K through 8th grade buildings. And then if you can't do those three things, then that's when you go out and look for your own standing facility that you can turn into a childcare center. And I know you can do it because, like I said before, I took a bank and turned it into a childcare. I've taken a old warehouse that used to house televisions in Ohio and made that a childcare center. I've taken an old pizza shop and turned it into a childcare center on the east side of Columbus. I've taken buildings that were inside shopping plazas and help people make childcare centers out of them. We've turned and converted homes into commercial housing and made a childcare center out of them. So they can happen. It's just how far you want to go to build out to have that childcare center. Okay. So it can happen. It's just how far do you want to go to build out this childcare center. I also have a new resource. If you buy land in your city, if you buy the piece of land, I have a company that has childcare modulins that are already made with the bathrooms in the classrooms that you can buy, and they come deliver them to you, set them up on the land, get them ready, get the water connected, get the electric connected. So it's so many different ways you can go about this. I tell people, if you can purchase a building, purchase a building. If you can't, then go into renting a space. And I'm only saying that because every building I had was a rented building, and I feel like, you were helping someone else build their business or pay their mortgage. So now I tell people, if you can buy your own personal building, go that route. Everybody cannot do that. So rent the facility, but then you put aside monies that's just for you to turn around and purchase a building within the next 2 years. So make that your personal goal in the next 2 years based off of what you make in that center. A certain portion of it will go up to be able to purchase your building. Because if there's something you want to do long term and you want to be able to pass it down to generations after generations, you want to own that facility, okay? And then even if you decide to sell it and you're selling it with the business, you're selling the business and you're selling the building. So that's 2 streams of income off of that as well, okay? Think about it that way. All right, so what you should have learned in this chapter or in this week is that you have to get out of your comfort zone in order to master being a childcare owner. It's essential to lay the foundation of a successful childcare center. This is probably one of the most uncomfortable things you would do, is deal with the licensing process, but it's also the most rewarding if you take time to learn each step that it requires you to stay in compliance, okay? That stay in compliance with the rules and regulations. This is probably the most important part. So yes, it is uncomfortable, but it's getting you to a place of understanding. And if you truly want to embark the childcare journey, you will have to get uncomfortable to learn it. You will have to understand what that looks like, and then getting the confidence to see yourself through getting your licensing and your permits to open your childcare center. So if nothing else, I hope this bless you to understand what it takes to open and operate a successful childcare center. Okay? You need to understand getting uncomfortable means next level for you. Getting uncomfortable helps you master becoming a multimillionaire. Getting uncomfortable helps you know that you're in the right place at the right time and it's the right season for you. And I'm here to guide you and to support you in your endeavors of becoming a childcare owner. I don't like to just say childcare, opening a childcare center. I want you as the owner to understand what it takes. So thank you again for choosing the Childcare Boss University. Thank you again for choosing me, the Childcare Boss, aka Coach Tish. Thank you again. I do not take it lightly when people pour into me financially for me to support them emotionally and mentally to get them ready for opening a childcare center. I don't take it lightly because this is one of the things I love. Like I said, owning a program for homeless teenage mothers, and I was also a teenage mother. I know what it means to have a person be there for you. So this is not about a profit for me. It's about my peace. So I do peace over profit, which means if I have the peace of mind that I'm supporting you and helping you, that's what this is all about. So I do love that I have clients who's willing to pay and pour into me, but I want to make sure that I'm pouring back in the same manner. So everyone that has ever given or poured into the Childcare Boss University or poured into me as the childcare coach, I'm always at your disposal. You text me, call me, whatever you need. If I don't have the information, I'll get the information, or someone on my team will make sure that you get the information. I also have so many childcare packages, and if you just want outside of this, like a coaching call, my coaching calls for those that are in childcare is $122 for an hour. Those that just want business coaching individually, no matter what, is $222. And again, it's for 1 full hour with me. Those that did purchase this, because this was my April class and I had a lot of things going on with my father passing on April 2nd, I turned it into a virtual where I send you the paperwork and this recording. You also get a free 30-minute coaching call with me so that I can help you navigate where you are in the childcare industry and where you're trying to go. And even though it's 30 minutes, I do set my timer at an hour because I know sometimes you have extra questions and you want to be able to get those answered. So I would love to answer those for you. If you have not already set it up, please email us or call us at 470-222-5694. 470-222-5694 so that we can answer your questions. Again, God bless you and have a great, great day.